So fine guys, like I said, so in today's class, we are going to talk about basically a LangChain, we are going to talk about a LangGraph, and we are going to talk about a LangServe. Now, what we are going to achieve with all these three. So with the help of LangChain, so we are going to create a tools. I think we all know what is the meaning of a tools. I believe I talked about a tools a lot. How we can try to create tools in case of a LangChain, in case of a Llama indexes, in case of a Crew AI. We have discussed about that. Even how to create agents, we have already talked about all of these things. Now it's time to combine a couple of things together and then deploy it somewhere where it can work in a real time. So everyone will be able to use my agents or tools that I'm going to create. And maybe if they would like to create their own UI interface, so they will be able to run it with the help of their own UI interface. That is something that we are going to see. So a complete end-to-end application till a deployment is something which I'm going to demonstrate in my today's class based on the previous class understanding. Because we talked about, we all know that how to create an agent, and in no time we all will be able to create an agent. In no time we can try to pass a tools to my agent. But it's time to serve each and everything. And this is where I'm going to use a LangServe framework. Again, there are multiple ways, there are multiple framework to do it. But I have chosen these three things, a LangChain, a LangGraph, and LangServe to build this entire end-to-end application. So let me share my screen. I believe my screen is visible to all of you. So let me open up my Scribble ink so that I can draw something for all of you. Okay, so let's try to understand that what we are going to achieve in my today's class. So first of all, this is the project. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So yeah. So this is the project that we are going to do. So AI driven medical diagnostic support system. So where we are going to basically create a different kind of a tools. We are going to create a different kind of a agents. The main part is a deployment, and the main part is end-to-end application building. So starting from your backend, so which is going to activate your agents and tools, and then building a front end, so which is going to consume, which is running in a backend. And again, so whenever we try to do a real-time project, we always try to create a backend server separately and a front-end server in a complete separate way, so that my front-end server will be able to communicate with my backend server. So even this Euron.1 application or this portal that you are able to see, so the things that you are able to see is basically a front end. But whenever you are going to click on any of these courses, or whenever you are going to click on anything, so it is trying to call an API from a backend. And because of that, so each and everything is up and running, whether it's an internship portal or whether it's a URI or anything. So yeah, coming to my internship portal, guys. So I told that by Friday internship portal will be available, but yeah, so we have released this internship portal on a Wednesday itself. And in an internship portal, you will be able to find out projects based on the different domain, based on the different technology. So far, we have loaded 570 projects. So you can go ahead and you can try to select any of the project of your choice, or maybe based on the domain, you can try to filter out any of these projects. And you can try to enroll into any of this project by looking into a PRD, by looking into a HLD, and by looking into a LLD. So in this PRD document, in this HLD document, in this LLD document, so very clearly we have defined all the requirement that you are supposed to fulfill. Now, why we are keeping in this way? The reason is very simple. Whenever you are going to join any organization, even as a fresher or maybe as an experienced person, so you will be able to see this kind of a PRD, almost a similar kind of a PRD, a project requirement documentation from your team, maybe from your lead, or maybe from your client. And similarly, you have to create a HLD and you have to create a LLD. But here, so we have already created a HLD and we have already created a LLD. In general, from your client or from your lead, you will be able to receive just a project requirement document. So where like with respect to a project, a goals, objective, or maybe a feature, maybe a user story that how user is going to navigate, or maybe a functional requirement, non-functional requirement, everything will be mentioned. Everything will be mentioned inside a PRD document, and based on that you have to create your HLD and LLD. But for every project we have given you HLD and LLD as well, so that it will make your life a little bit easier. And based on this PRD, HLD and LLD, you will be able to build end-to-end project and you will be able to submit it. Now you can try to use it as a fresher. You can try to use it even as an experienced person. Believe me, even if you are going to complete 1 or 2 projects, right? 1 or 2 projects, you will be able to get a complete real-time exposure. This is how this entire project is been built. And this is how real-time event development happens, right? So whenever we say that, okay, fine. So how real-time development happens. So this is how real-time development happens at the end of the day. So hope all of you are going to explore it. All of you are going to enroll it. And very soon we are going to even roll out the feature, maybe by the end of this month, where if you would like to work as a team, right? Maybe if you would like to work with 2 people, 3 people or 5 people, you will be able to work. As of now, as an individual, you can come over here, you can select one single project and then you can try to start. So once you are going to click on enroll, so here, it is going to give you a onboarding letter. Like this is just an onboarding letter we are giving you, and this is an official onboarding letter. Anyone can come over here and anyone even can verify that whether this letter is a genuine or not. So basically this letter anyone can verify. So even with the help of QR code or with the help of this ID or just by clicking on the link. So this is just an onboarding letter, not a completion letter at all. So completion letter, you will be able to get it once you are going to submit the project after doing it. Plus, we have given you a Kanban board kind of a structure. So where you can try to, list down all the tasks over here and then drag it from one place to another places. So as it is going to complete. So this is just for you. So when you are trying to build a big project, so obviously we try to use a Kanban board kind of a things. And this is where this Kanban board is going to come into picture for a respective project. You can try to enroll into 1, 2, or maybe hundreds of projects. We don't have any kind of issues. And for majority of technology projects are already available. For majority of domain projects are already available. For whichever domain projects are not available, for whichever tech projects are not available, we have given an option to request. So here you can come and you can even try to write your domain and just a technology. My team is going to evaluate it. So you have requested doesn't mean that project will be available for sure. We are going to evaluate it, the alignment with respect to this particular portal that we have created, and then we are going to create a PRD, we are going to create a HLD, we are going to create a LLD, and we'll try to make those projects available inside a internship portal. So hope this entire portal is fine with all of you. If you have any question, please let me know. This is nice. Will you be adding a legal area also soon? Yeah, you can request it basically. You can go ahead and you can request it. So whatever project that we are going to upload, so we are going to upload it with respect to a tech, basically, right? With respect to a technology, we are going to do it. So maybe if you can try to fill up a domain as a legal, maybe technology as AI, or maybe like a web development. So we can try to build a project and we can try to make it available. But yeah, you can go ahead and request. It will take some time, maybe sometime week of time it is going to take, sometime maybe 10 days of time it is going to take. But if the project or domain or technology is a feasible one, we'll make it available. Kanban for a work management. Yes. So basically we all use a Kanban kind of a board, right? In terms of a task allocation, in terms of a work allocation. For example, tomorrow you are going to basically tomorrow you are going to work with a multiple person, right? So maybe you can create one of the tasks for you, one of the tasks for your team members, and then you can try to allocate those tasks on your team member. And this is how even we do a project development, right? Whenever we do a project development, so we create a multiple different tasks. Technically, your lead is going to create a multiple different kind of a task. They are going to assign it among a different team members. So in a Kanban board itself, you will be able to see that particular option. So where whoever you are going to onboard, right, for a particular project. So you can try to do a project along with that, and you can try to allocate a task that, okay, you do this, I will do this, something like this. and then you can try to track your own progress. But yeah, so the only objective behind this internship portal is to give you an experience, and especially for a fresher and dropout. So every colleges nowadays in a final semester, or maybe even in a sixth semester, most of the colleges, it's a rule nowadays, right? They look for the internship. And generally what happens is a problem with the internship. I'll talk about even a reality of the internship. So the problem with the internship is that majority of interns ends up doing a low level task whenever they join as an intern, and they will not end up learning anything. They will maybe just get some sort of a completion certificate for 3 months, for 4 months, for 6 months, max to max. And at the end of the day, they don't learn anything, they don't build anything. But this portal makes sure, always make sure that you are building, you are not just doing a low hanging task basically. Generally, like this is what like interns does. But yeah, not here, not in this one. And it is going to give you a complete end-to-end understanding, because when you are going to submit the project based on the project criteria, which means HLD, LLD, and PRD that we have given to you. So we are going to evaluate, and we are going to give you even a review. If we are rejecting your project, so you will be able to get a review, a complete end-to-end review that, okay, this is something that you have to do, you have not done that. And based on the review, you can try to build a project once again, and then you are going to resubmit it. Now, once you are going to resubmit it, then only, and once you are going to resubmit it, and then once we are going to approve it, then only you will get a completion letter for that duration. Duration means the day you have enrolled. Let's suppose today you have enrolled and you are submitting your project maybe after 3 months, 4 months, or 5 months. So for that particular tenure, you will be able to get a letter, authentic letter from our side. And again, in every PRD, you will be able to find out that we have even given you a tentative milestone, that how much time in general this project should take. But yeah, you can take even a less time, or even you can take maybe a more time. It's completely fine. At the end of the day, the final internship completion letter that you will be able to get, or internship letter that you are going to receive, is for a tenure of submission till approval. Yeah. Is internship accessible for a org subscriber? I don't think so. Internship is not available for the org subscriber. It's just available for a plus subscriber. Whatever feature that we are building, whatever feature that we are launching, it is like costing us a lot. So obviously, like it's not available to like anyone except a plus subscriber basically. Okay, so I believe now internship portal is fine. Now coming back to our discussion. So like I said, generative AI with NLP. So as I said that we are going to basically talk about this particular project in my today's class. So this label 3 project basically. Yeah. So AI driven medical diagnosis support system. Now, intention is not to teach you how to build an agent. Intention is not to teach you how to build a tools. But intention is to teach you in this particular project how to do it things end to end, so that any given project, right? Any given project going forward that we are going to build. So we will go ahead with the end to end approach, not just like running something in my local system. So today I'll be showing you a deployment in a render, but tomorrow maybe I'll try to show you even a deployment with the AWS, Azure, and maybe other services. But yeah, so like to see a deployment or to do a deployment, you have to have that account. Unless and until you don't have an account, you will not be able to do a deployment. But yeah, from my side, obviously, I'm going to show it to you. So, shall we start, guys? Yeah. Okay. So, Joey is the first person who used to comment all the time. That's great. So fine, let's get started and let me show you end to end this entire things. And today onwards, whatever you are going to build with respect to agentic AI, please make sure that you are doing end to end, not just like something which is running in your local system, right? So we will like leave that approach from today onwards. Okay. So now to do this, let me close this entire things. And here, what we are going to do is, so we are going to build basically okay, what had happened? So technically we are going to build a backend. Now in a backend, so we can try to keep our tools, and then I can try to keep my agents, right? I think we all know what is the meaning of a tools. I think we all know what is the meaning of a agents. And then we are going to build a front end separately, right? So both the servers are going to be separate, like a backend will be called by my front end. So obviously front end, I'm going to create a Streamlit app. Now those who would like to create this entire things with the help of maybe a React app, or maybe by using some other UI things, you can go Gradio or maybe like a React if you would like to create, or React Native in which you would like to create it. You can go ahead and you can try to create it. At the end of the day, my backend will be completely separate, and this backend can be called by anyone. It will be a complete technology independent, right? It will be completely technology independent. So my backend will be called. So I'm going to expose my backend as an API, and anyone and everyone will be able to call that API. Anyone and everyone will be able to do a testing. For example, so even for a Euron, right? Even for a Euron, so we have released a endpoint, and that's an authenticated, authorized endpoint. And something is running in a backend, right? So whenever you are going to call Euron via API, and whenever you are going to call a Euron even through a UI interface by the chat system, right? So Euron is trying to hit some of the backend, right? Whether it's an API or whether it's a UI chat interface. So Euron is trying to hit that backend. Euron is trying to execute or do a inferencing. It is trying to do a complete lattice operation in a backend, so that you will be able to get an output in a formatted way, whether it's a formula, whether it's a table, or whether it's any other things. And then you are able to see some of the responses. So generally, whenever we try to create a production grade application, we always try to keep my backend separate and always try to keep my front end separate, so that I can try to manage both of these things separately, and independently I will be able to develop my backend, independently I will be able to develop my front end. And then whenever it is required, I'll just try to call the APIs and I will be able to stitch it together, right? Stitch it together. And this is something that I'm going to see. So I'll try to keep all my executable things. Executable things means tools and the agents, because this is something that we try to execute, and whatever agent that we are going to create, whatever tools that my agent is trying to call. So these are the executable things. These are the things which is trying to do a real task, right? And the front end is just a UI, which is giving you a complete user experience, and anyone without knowing about a tech in a backend, right, they will be able to use it. So similar kind of approach we are going to see in this particular class. Now API wise, I will be using a Euron API, so that you don't have to go anywhere, because we all know that we are trying to build an agentic AI project, or anything that you will build in a generative AI. Without API, you can't do anything, right? I believe we all have that understanding, because we have taken many classes, and so many times we have already used a Euron API. So, and we are going to run this backend in a local system first of all, front end in a local system first of all. Even we are going to combine it, and then we are going to run it in a local system first of all, and then I will host backend separately on a separate server on a cloud, and front end on a separate server on a cloud. And then we'll see that whether it is able to make an interaction or not in between front end and a backend, in between my tools, agents, and my front end UI interface, which has been built in a Streamlit. And then I'll keep on writing more and more things as we are going to progress. So let me open up our VS Code. VS Code. And then let's create a new folder for this project. Medical project. I'm going to keep it as a name, and then select a folder. So this is my folder, a simple raw blank folder I have created. Now inside this, so what I can do is, so we are trying to build a AI medical diagnostic system. Okay, so let's create a folder, AI underscore MEDICL underscore DIGNOSTICS. So let's create another folder, AI medical diagnostic. This is my project folder, by the way, main folder. And then I'm going to create basically another folder, and I can name it as a LangServe underscore backend. So LangServe backend I'm going to create. And then inside this folder, inside this LangServe backend folder, I am going to create a folder called as tools so that I can keep all my tools in one place. So tools. And then I'm going to create another folder inside this LangServe backend, and I'm going to keep it as a utils, UTILS. So all the utility file, I'm going to keep it here. So means like a URI file, you can say. So I'm going to keep it here. So this is my project structure, by the way, inside the LangServe. And then once you are going to like come, right? Once you are going to like come here, so maybe I can try to create for a backend, I can try to create a file called as diagnostic graph, where I will be keeping all my agents. And then inside a LangServe folder itself, I'm going to keep it my main file. So main.py file, which will be called eventually in LangServe backend. I'll try to realign it. And then inside my LangServe backend itself, let's keep requirements requirements.txt file. Okay. So this is the folder structure, guys, we have to create. So where inside a LangServe, I think there is something wrong with main.py file is available, requirement.txt is available, diagnostic is available. So requirement, diagnostic, main.py file, everything is available inside the LangServe backend. Okay. Now it's aligned. So everything is available inside my LangServe backend. Now again, I'm going to click on my AI medical agent. So there is a one folder called as backend folder. And then here I'm going to click again AI medical diagnostic main folder. And I'm going to create a folder called as streamlit t_UI. So I'll try to keep all my front-end code inside my Streamlit UI folder, this particular folder. Now what I'm going to keep inside my Streamlit UI folder, so I'm going to keep my app.py file over here, and then a separate requirement.txt for my front-end. So separate, because I have to deploy separately. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to keep a separate requirement.txt file, requirements.txt. So here, this is my folder structure, guys. Close everything. This is my folder structure. So this is the main folder, as you can see, right? Then we have two folders inside the main folder. One is for backend, one is for frontend. I have created. Now inside a backend folder, because backend will be all about tools and like agents calling. So I'm going to create a tools folder over here. There is a utility folder. There is a diagnostic graph main, and then requirement.txt file. And then on my UI side, there will be only one file, which where I'm going to create a basic UI and then requirement.txt file. Now what I will do is I'll try to deploy this backend separately. So this and this will be independent of each other. So backend will be separated the way we try to deploy it in a real time. So I'm going to follow the exact same approach, nothing different. And I'm going to deploy my a UI in a completely separate way. And my front end is going to call my backend whenever someone is going to hit it. Means whenever someone is going to ask a question about a medical diagnosis based on the symptoms, it is going to hit my backend, by the way. So this is the approach that we are going to follow. So hope this approach is clear, everyone. Yeah, is this clear to every one of us? So what we are going to do, by the way? Yeah. So are we able to create a folder structure, guys? Just this folder structure, simple, right? Backend separate, front end separate. And in both the folder, we have a requirement.txt, because deployment wise, although when you are running these things in a local system, it's not required, because I will be using the exact same environment for both the run UI and backend and front end. But yeah, so when you are going to deploy it, so obviously you need a separate a requirement.txt file. Otherwise, it is not going to spin up the machine. Okay, now let's get started. Now on my backend side, so we have a tools and we have a utilities. So what we are going to keep it inside our tools. So I'm going to create one tool, right? I'm going to create one tool over here. So means one Python file I'm going to create. So which is going to do a diagnosis of the symptom. So I'm going to name it as a diagnosis diagnosis underscore tool tool.py file. So simple Python file, diagnosis tool. And then I'm going to create another tool. So which is going to check the symptoms. So here symptom symptom underscore checker dot py file. So symptom checker. So these are the tools which I'm going to create. Two tools. One will diagnose, one will try to check the symptoms. And then there is a utility file I'm going to create. So utility file is nothing but my Euron client basically. So Euron underscore client, Euron client.py file. So Euron client is something that I'm going to create over here. Okay. Now, so inside tools, now we have two tools inside like utility. We have Euron client, by the way. So where I'm going to call a Euron because I need an access of LLMs. Without LLMs, I can't do anything. So just create it and confirm me guys in a chat. Just create all the folder structure, file structure. Anyhow, I'm going to share this entire project inside your like Euron dashboard. But yeah, so as of now in a live class, you all have to do it. So please confirm me guys once you are able to do it. Okay, so we are able to create it. So I'll try to start with the Euron client and I'm going to use the exact same code that we have been using even before. So where I'm going to call this file. So let me show it to you. So where we are going to call this code, right? So for a chat completion, so which is going to take some side of a data content and then accordingly it is going to give you the response by taking the API. So this is something that I'm going to do it in a very first place. Same code in a little bit modified way. I'm going to use it. So let's try to like create a Euron client. So here Euron client wise. So this is my Euron client. Here you have to pass your own API key, by the way. Your API key and code is same. Code is same. The code that we have already shared. So it's the same code. I have copy and pasted, so it's not different at all. So this is the code, guys. I have pinged you this code even inside your chat box so that you can use it. Now Euron API key, from where I can get it, I believe we all know the place. Go to authentication inside Euron and copy it, right? Copy this API key and then paste it over here. So simple to get my Euron API key. What it is trying to do? Nothing. As per the sample code, so it is trying to take your like models. So whatever model that you want, you can try to pass this model over here, and then you can try to pass temperature, maximum token you can try to set, and we have parameterized it so that you can try to pass these things even in a later stage, and then you can try to pass your message. And we all know that whatever things that you are going to ask, it is going to do it, right? It's a ChatGPT model that we are using, a chat completion model that we are using. So this will go inside a Euron client. Now once Euron client is done, which is available inside my Euron client.py file, close it, right? Close it because we are going to use it inside the tools. So we all know that tools is nothing but a function, right? We all know that tools is nothing but a function at the end of the day. A function which is going to perform a specific task, and just by writing doing some sort of a annotation as a tools, we can convert any function as a tools for a LangChain. Right, guys, everyone? Yes. So if I have to convert any function as a tool, can I say that I can convert it? So I think we have done a lot of these things. So from LangChain LangChain chain dot tools, import tools. And let's suppose if I'm going to create any function, addition function, and maybe it is taking two parameter a and b, and it is going to return maybe a plus b over here. So this is a normal simple function. Now, if I have to convert this entire function as a tool, what I have to do, I just have to do the annotation from this LangChain tool that we have called. So at the rate of tool, and now this will become a tool. That this will be discoverable by the agents, right? So my agents will be able to discover this tool as and when it is required. So this is how easy it is, and we have already created our tools in LangChain. In LangGraph, we have also created. In Llama indexes, we have also created it, and I believe even in Crew AI, we have also created the exact same thing. Agree, everyone? This is the way by which we try to create a tools. Okay. Now, so my tool is going to use basically a URI. So I can try to call utils. Utils is the folder. Inside this folder, what I have a URI client, and then I'm going to import what? So import URI chat completion function, because this is available here, right? So inside utility folder, I have this Python file. As you can see, inside utility folder, I have this Python file, and then import URI chat completion. So these are the only two things which is required for me. And before that, as like a environment conflicts gives you a lots and lots of issue. So let's do one thing. Let's try to create one separate independent environment for this entire project. So to do that, what I will do is I'll try to write maybe a conda create and then environment name -n, and this is a medi die. So medi diagnostics. So medi die, I'm going to give a name Python, Python, Python is equals to 3.10. I'm going to keep and then install yes. So now this is going to create my new Python environment. Okay. So now once this new Python environment has been created, now once it's done, so maybe I can try to activate this Python environment. So this Python environment is activated, or maybe I can try to even go in a command prompt and then activate this environment. So as you can see, this environment is activated. We have done these things 100 times in our class, so nothing new. So, and then what we can do is we can try to install the requirements. So whatever requirements that we have, we can try to install it so that we can mitigate a conflict going forward. So what we are going to keep inside the requirement. So here we are going to keep all of these things which we are going to use. So these are something that we are going to keep it inside the requirement.txt. So we are going to keep a FastAPI, so which is going to help me out in terms of building an API. Unicorn, just to like execute or just to expose this API. LangServe, so that I will be able to serve all the agents and all the tools. LangGraph, so that I will be able to build a graph of the agents which can try to perform, because I have to combine the multiple things together. So I'm going to use a graph approach. So one after another, it will try to connect. LangChain help, which can help me out in terms of creating a tools and the agents. Request, which can help me out in terms of like requesting to my URI or Streamlit for a UI. SSC, basically, which is required again to call your agents. So this is something that you have to keep inside requirement.txt file. And once you have all these things in your fresh created environment, just install it. So dir and just go to medical diagnostic. So cd AI, go to that folder where we have a requirement.txt. So cd LangServe backend, and then here we have a requirement.txt. As you can see, right? We have a requirement.txt. So I can simply run pip install -r requirement.txt, and everything it is going to execute. So whatever library that I have given, it will try to install each and everything in my system, in this environment. So just do it, guys. Create your own environment and then try to install everything. I have pinged you what will go inside the requirement.txt file. Okay, so looks like almost everything is done without any kind of a major issue. So we are able to prepare our environment, and we should not be worried about anything now with respect to this environment. Okay, now, so once environment is done, Once environment is done, so let's try to create a tools. So first tool is for a diagnosis, second tool is for a symptom checker. So it's going to be a normal function, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to just annotate it with a tool. So it will just try to behave as a tool. Now here, right here, file name is diagnosis. So basically I have to write some function, so which is going to take an input from the user, and it is supposed to diagnose that what kind of illness that you have, what kind of a problem or health problem that you have. Okay, so def AI underscore diagnos diagnose, and then here symptom underscore description it is going to take. And as we are trying to convert something into a tool, so I have to give this doc string for each and every function. That's a standard approach, right? So use URI to provide the diagnosis suggestion based on the symptom given by users. Simple. So this is just a doc string, nothing much, right? This is not a functionality. This is just a doc string for this function that I have mentioned. Now, so what I will do is I'll try to return something from URI chat completion. Yeah, I'll try to return something from a URI chat completion. Means I'm going to call this URI chat completion. Now, if you will go and check what is a input URI chat completion takes. So URI chat completion is taking a message, right? Whatever message that you are going to pass. So maybe if I'm saying that I'm not feeling well, or today I have a headache, or maybe a severe back pain I have. So that is a kind of a messages you are going to pass. You can try to pick and choose the model. So if you are not going to give a model, by default GPT 4.1 Nano it is going to take. But in case of URI, you have 10 model access, as simple as that. You have a deep thinking model access as well. You have a real-time search model access as well in case of a URI, right? If you're trying to use OpenAI, so in that case, obviously one model, one task. So you can use that as well, but I don't have any kind of a issue, but yeah. So here you have a multi-model access, you can use it. Temperature, I believe we all know what is the meaning of temperature. If you are not going to override this one, in that case, it will be 0.7. Maximum number of token, so 1000 if you are not overriding it. So here message it is going to take. Now, what kind of a message I'm going to pass, right? What kind of a messages I'm going to pass? So let's create a message, MESSAGE message, which I'm going to pass into my URI chat completion. So here I'm going to create a message in a LLM way, basically, right? I'm going to create a message in a LLM way. Now, so here I'm going to write down that role. So what is the role of the LLM? So behave it like user, role is user basically. And then content. So content wise what? So content wise formatted string. Okay, it's coming outside. So content wise formatted string. And then here, so I can try to write down a patient reports basically this symptom, the symptom which I'm trying to pass. Symptom description, so whatever symptom that user is going to pass, symptom. Now I can try to ask a question that what are the possible diagnosis and next step, and even suggest me cure for this one. So this is the message which will go inside my URI LLM based on the symptom description that my user is going to pass whenever this will be called, whenever this tool will be called. And eventually my like a URI is going to give me a response. So here I'm going to pass my message is equals to message, right? This particular message will come here inside my URI chat completion, and then it is going to call this entire things. My API call will be done, by the way, and based on the API call, so it is going to perform each and everything. Okay, so that's completely fine. Now, so here you have to change a URL. I believe I have given you a wrong URL. So this URL is going to be, guys, endpoint, and can go to code example. So URL is going to be this one, chat completion URL. So alpha chat completion. You can check that out even from a URI. So this is the chat completion URL, by the way. So let me ping you this. So just make this correction, chat completion URL. And yeah, so based on this is going to perform this operation. It is going to call. Now, as of now, this is available just as a simple function. I will try to convert this as a tool so that my agents will be able to discover this particular tool automatically. So at the rate TOOL tool, and now this became tool. So agent will be able to discover it in a easiest possible manner. And this is the complete code for all of you. Fine, everyone, done till this point? Yeah, done, everyone. So easy. I don't think that none of us, any one of us are going to face any kind of issue, because this is not the first time we are doing it, right? We have done that multiple times already. Okay. So this tool is done. One diagnosis tool is done, and this is the message it will get. And then based on that, URI is going to give you some sort of a response. Close it. Close everything now. Now we have a second tool, which is a symptom checker tool. So again, I'm going to write a couple of function over there. So here from LangChain, I can write like all of this tool in a single file. That's also fine. But yeah, I'm just trying to maintain the modularity so that anyone can come tomorrow and then try to add any number of tools in the respective section. So LangChain, CHAIN, chain dot TOOLS tools import tool. Simple. So LangChain. Yeah, there should not be any kind of a spelling mistake. And then here I'm going to create a function called as check underscore symptom symptom. So user symptom is a input, some string input I'm going to give, and then it is going to check the symptom. So what it is going to do, let me write it down in a doc string. So it is going to, so this tool will analyze the input symptom text and return the relevant medical category, that okay, this symptom belongs to which category. This is what it is trying to do. So if I would like to do something more, it can do it. Now user can try to input a symptom in a lowercase, in a uppercase. So I'm going to normalize it. So whatever user is going to input, just try to convert it in a lowercase. So just to normalize it, because user is user, right? So user can try to symptom symptom is equals to this one. Okay. Now, so I'm just going to write a if else kind of a condition over here. I'm not going to call any kind of APIs as well, API even inside this one. So here what I'm going to do is that if user is going to input fever in symptom, right? Or user is going to input body ache in symptom, or chills in symptom. So return what? Return infection. Yeah. So simple. So based on the symptoms, it is going to do the return. Elif, throat, throat in symptom. If user is going to say, or maybe if user is saying cough, 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 symptom, then in that case, try to return what? So maybe you have a respiratory infection, RESPIRATORY, respiratory infection you have. Okay. Elif, if user is saying that you have a headache, HEADACHE, in symptom, or maybe user is feeling dizzy, symptom, then do one thing. So return neurological or neurological. Neurological. Okay. Elif stomach in symptom or nausea. In symptom, then return basically gastrointestinal symptom. Okay. Else try to return general examination is required. So this is a very basic function again I have created, and I'm not doing much over here, as you can see. So a simple function which is going to work on if else kind of a things, and it is going to return you some sort of a symptom. Now I have to convert this one into as a tool so that my agent will be able to discover. So I'm going to write it over here as a tools. So now this entire function will become a tools, and I can try to use it as a tools, LangChain tools, right? It will become a LangChain tool, by the way. Again, let me ping you this code. So two tools we are able to create, guys. So one is basically a diagnosis tools and one is a symptom checker tool. In a diagnosis tool, I'm using LLMs. In this one, I'm not using LLMs. If you would like to use a LLMs even over here, do it, not an issue. Even to find out the symptoms based on the user, because LLM will be more advanced and it will be able to, understand the user input in a much better way. But yeah, I'm not using it. I'm just trying to show you the variations over here. But you can feel free to use it. And you can feel free to add more number of tools over here for diagnosis, for a symptoms, or maybe for anything else that you want. So making sense, guys? Are we able to do it till this point? Yeah. So tool is done. Utility we have already created. So these two things are done. Yeah, done till this point. So two things is closed. Tools is closed. Utility is closed. Utility is nothing but just calling the simple URI, nothing much. And tools is nothing but like two tools, two separate tools that we have created in this place. Okay. Now, so we are going to create, or we are going to write something into a diagnostic graph. Diagnostic graph means, so basically it is going to like a use, or it is going to basically create a separate node so that it will be able to check the symptom. After checking the symptom, it will be able to do a diagnosis. After doing a diagnosis, it will be able to return me something, right? It will be able to return me something, and eventually it is going to use the tools that I have already created. So graph means what? So we are going to create a multiple node, you can say. So one node we can try to create just for the symptom checker. Now this node is going to give a response to this one, and it is going to do a diagnostic. Based on this, you will be able to get the output, right? So this graph kind of a structure we are going to create. So here we will be using a symptom tool, and here we will be using basically a diagnostic tool. So this is what I'm going to configure with the help of LangGraph basically. So LangChain is done. I'm using LangChain just to create two tools. So this is the use of LangChain. I can even use it for creating an agent. That's completely fine if I have to create a single agent. But yeah, so I have to maybe like create a complete flow. So maybe I'm going to use a LangGraph over here. I can try to use maybe a llama indexes. That is also fine. We know that we can try to call multiple things over here. We can even try to use a crew AI in this particular place. That is also going to work. We can even try to use some sort of a UI based like a agent creation tool or tools creation tool, like a Lang flow we can try to use. So anything is completely fine. At the end of the day, you are going to achieve the exact same thing. So here I have to create a diagnostic graph. Now to create a diagnostic graph, so what I'm going to keep inside this one, let's do it one by one. So here the very first thing that I'm going to call is a typing. import type dictionary. Why? I'll tell you. Then from langgraph dot graph, so import basically a state graph, which will help me out to create the graph, and then end. Okay, so langgraph import is done. From LangChain, CHAIN chain core dot runables, so import runables, and we have a runnable lambda, so call a runnable lambda. And then you have already created two tools, right? You have already created two tools. Inside the tool directory we have a two tools, so diagnostic and symptom checker. So let's call that one. So from a tools directory we have a diagnosis, so import basically import what? So import, what is the function that we have created? So import that function, AI diagnosis, and then check symptom. Okay, so diagnosis tool, AI diagnosis, call it, and then from tools dot diagnosis tool import check. Oh, I have imported again, same thing. Symptom checker, import what? So check symptom. Okay, so all the imports are done over here. So we are able to import a LangGraph. We are able to import a LangChain, which will help me out to invoke my tools, whatever tools that I've created, and then typing, which is going to help me out in terms of creating a dictionary. So dictionary means, so we have to align these things with the Pydantic. So Pydantic library that is there to pass a data. So here, which is required to build a graph basically. So here we are going to create a Pydantic like a class. So diagnostic, diagnostic, diagnostic state. So now this is the class. This is going to take a type dictionary as an input. So at the end of the day, it is going to accept input as str. I'm just trying to give a type, and the input it is going to take symptom underscore area. Str, so string it should be comma is not required in this Pydantic. Okay, so input symptom area diagnosis, diagnosis, again it's going to be str. Okay, so these are the input I'm going to basically pass at the end of the day. These are the input it is going to take, and I've just like defined it in a Pydantic way, because at the end of the day LangServer and LangGraph requires this format of the input. And then I can start creating a graph basically, means I will start creating a node at the end of the day, and graph needs this kind of a inputs. So here def, and I can try to call a function called as build underscore graph build graph. Now this function is just going to build the entire end-to-end graphs. Simple. So graph is equals to state graph. I'm going to call the import that I have done in a top, and then I'm going to say that okay, so basically I'm going to provide you input in this particular way to the graph, and then what we are going to do is, so we are going to create a node inside a graph. And as I have already told you that we are going to create two nodes. So one is going to check the symptoms, and one is going to basically do the diagnosis. So a symptom node and then diagnosis node we are going to create. Now to create these nodes, a symptom node and a diagnosis node, so we have to define a function that what this node is going to technically do, right? So obviously these nodes are going to call my tools basically. So whenever I'm going to call symptom, so symptom tool it is going to call, and whenever I'm going to call maybe a diagnosis, it should call my diagnosis tool, right? So these graphs node is supposed to call my symptom tool and the diagnosis tool. Okay, let's do it then. So here, so I'm going to define the function. So def and symptom step is a function, and state I'm going to say, and here, so state I'm going to like input, and it is going to return return return. So what it is going to return, by the way? So it is going to return all three things. all three things it is supposed to return, right? So it is going to return basically a input. Let me copy the same. And just keep it as a key value pair. Okay, so it is going to return three things. So it is going to return input in symptom area and diagnosis. Now here, state is nothing but input. And then here I'm going to call my check symptoms, and check symptoms dot invoke, and invoke with what? So invoke with this state input. So whatever input that I'm giving as of now, so based on that, invoke it. Okay. Now diagnosis, state dot get, and then get me the diagnosis. Simple. So this is basically one of the functions, so which is going to take the current state, and based on that, so it is going to basically give me all of these things. So input, symptom area, and the diagnosis. Now this is just a function which I have created. Now I have to add this function into a graph node. Node means this node, right? The node that I'm trying to create, I have to add this one into this particular node. And this is already calling check symptom, which is my tool eventually, right? Check symptom is what? Check symptom is my technically a tool. Over there, I have already written a code. So it is going to call my tool. This one is going to call my tool. And I have to attach this one with a graph node. This is the like a process that we are going to follow. So how I will be able to attach this basically with my node. So simple, graph dot node or graph dot add edge add underscore node. Yeah. So graph dot add node. So this is my graph. This is my graph object. Basically, this is my graph object. So I'm trying to add a node. So when I'm trying to add a node, so what I'm trying to add over here. So here node wise, I can try to give a name over here. So node wise, the name of the node is going to be symptom check. Basically, this is the name of the node, and what this node will be holding. So runnable lambda, this node will be holding runnable lambda. So means this particular function, this node will be holding symptom steps. This is something that it will be holding. So now I'm able to create one node. Let me draw that once again. So here I had a graph. Now I'm able to add this symptom step as a first node, and I have named that node as a name of this node is basically a symptom check node. Symptom check node. That's it. This is the only thing that I'm trying to do. Now this symptom step. So what it is trying to call? So internally it is trying to call my tool. This is my tool, by the way. So this graph node, whenever this node will be executed, eventually it is calling my tools. Whenever you are going to invoke this one, as we have written, whenever we are going to invoke this one, so it will try to take the input, whatever input currently user has given, and it is going to call ultimately a tool. So node is technically calling my tool. Hope this is making sense to all of us. Yes, guys, everyone. So one node we are able to create. Someone is saying hello, Danshu. Yeah, hello. So hope one node we are able to create, right? One single node we are able to create, so which will be able to do a symptom check. Okay. Now we have to create another node, and we have to bind it with some other function over there, and we have to call a tool inside it. So here what I will do is I'll try to create a diagnosis node or diagnosis function. I'll try to create and bind it with the diagnosis node. So likewise, you can create hundreds of node now, right? Hundreds of node, and you can try to bind it with any number of tools that you want. That's completely up to you. So here diff diagnosis, diagnosis diagnosis underscore step. So this is the function I'm going to create for a node, which is going to execute in a current state. And then it is going to return me what? So it is retu return. Return me what, by the way? Sorry. So return me what, by the way, over here. So again, it is going to return the input, symptom, area, and diagnosis as per the pydantic alignment. So I'm just going to copy the same. I'll just change the internal one. So it is going to return what? It is going to return this one. Now it is going to take input from the current state, right? Current state, so that it can do back and forth. And then symptom area. So here it is going to like a symptom area. So here it is going to take not this one. So state and whatever symptom area is available, because before this node, this will be executed. So I will be having a symptom, by the way, right? I will be having a symptom. So from the state, from the current run, I am going to pass symptom area. So I'm going to pass basically a symptom area over here. So whatever will be available in a current state, because before diagnosis, it is trying to check the symptom. And then at the time of diagnosis, I'm going to call my tool. So symptom state is there, input is there. So means user input is there. And based on user input, whatever symptom is been observed, that is already there. So now I can try to call my tool and diagnosis, AI diagnosis, invoke it. And here state and it will try to take an input from the current state basically. So this is the only changes, because at the time of diagnosis, I have to run this one, run this tool. At the time of symptom checker, I have to run this particular tool. Okay. And both of this input is going even inside the diagnosis step. Now this is the function I have defined for one of the other node, which will be connected. So the node which will come right after my symptom checker node. So I have just bind it. I have just connected it. Now in a graph, again, try to add node. Again, try to add a node. This time I'm going to add this node. So I'm going to name this node AI diagnosis. This is the name. And whenever I'm going to execute this one, runnable lambda, so it is going to call which one? It is going to call my diagnosis step function. And ultimately this diagnosis step function is calling my tool. Simple. So now successfully I'm able to create over here two nodes, a two independent node, you can say, right? As of now, two independent node I'm going to create. One is for a symptom and one is for a diagnosis. Two nodes has been created now. Now I have to connect this node. Even I have to say that which one will be invoked when. Yeah. So in a graph, I have already added it. Now I have to even say that, okay, so from which sequence you are supposed to start yourself. Let's do it. So here graph add a node. And in this way I can try to add any number of node that I want. So here in a graph dot, there is something called as set entry points. I believe I have already used it, right? I have already used it even my previous execution when I was shown you the a graph. So entry point is going to be what? So entry point is going to be my this name. So symptom check node, right? What is the name of this node? So this is my entry point. So whenever you are going to start from my symptom checker first. You can try to start from diagnosis as well. So depends upon your configuration that you are going to do. And then graph dot add edge. So we were adding node, right? We were adding node means we have created an independent node. Now we have to create even an edge. Edge means, so I'm going to start from here, right? I'm going to start from here. Now I'm going to create the edge. This is basically edge, 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 right? So a starting point I have already defined. So this is going to be my starting point. This node, I have already defined it here. Now I'm going to create a edge over here. So edge between which one? So this to this edge I have to create. So let me write it down, that part. So edge I am going to create between this one. So edge I am going to create between this name, this node. So this is the name of one node and my second node. So this is my second node, right? So I'm going to create a edge between these two nodes. So add edge, I'm adding it, right? So in this way, you will be able to create any kind of a complex graph, tree kind of a things, whatever you want, you can try to create it, right? Okay. Now, so again, so once you are able to create this edge, so means I'm able to build this particular bridge, then it is going to give me the output, right? And this output should leads to the end, right? Endpoint that, okay, fine. This is the end of this. Further, I don't have to do anything. So fine, I have to create even this edge and bind it to the end. So let's do it. So now here again, graph dot add edge I have to create, and edge between what? So edge between this last node and then dot what? So dot end, right? So end is a default parameter which is available, which I have already done the import, as you can see from a LangGraph, right? And I have already done the import. So end. So now my graph is binded and this entire graph is ready for me. This entire graph is ready for me. Now, so once this entire graph is ready for me, I have to return what from this function. So everything I'm writing inside this function, build graph function. So this build graph function is going to return what? So graph dot compile. So whenever you are going to call it, it is going to compile it and then it is going to return you the graph. Is it making sense to all of us, guys? How we are able to build a different node inside like a lang graph, and then how we are able to bind it, how we are able to bind it with the tool that I have created inside a LangChain. Yes, everyone? Is it tough? I don't think that it's tough. It's just like writing a plain English, right? It's just like feel like writing a literature, by the way. Yeah, Santosh saying yes, Joy saying clear. Okay. What about other guys? So you are coming to a class just to watch a movies, or like you are trying to execute something? Because see, doesn't matter how many things I'm going to teach you, unless and until you are not going to execute, unless and until you are not going to run. Because when you will run, right, for sure you will get an issue, for sure, right? For sure you are going to get an issue. For sure you have to fix it. And even I used to get an issue, and just because of that, I used to get a lot of issues. I used to fix it. Because of that, I can come inside the class and I can teach you, because I know I can fix the issue. But yeah, so even you have to face the exact same thing on your end. Okay, now many people are saying yes, yes. Durgesh, Sanjay, Eric, Assis, Vijay, Dev Kumar. Okay. So now what we are able to achieve so far? So we are able to basically create a tools. Tool is calling my LLMs, right? Now we are able to create a graph. So graph, which is going to combine the node and which is going to build my entire use case. So technically graph is the one where it is going to connect my entire node. Or you can say like multiple agents I'm trying to connect together over there. Yeah. And now next is what? Now next is that to call this graph basically, right? To call this entire graph that we have created, to execute this entire graph that we have created, I can do it in a multiple way. So call this graph basically, and this graph will be calling each and everything, right? This graph will be calling each and everything. But I have to call it, right? I have to basically call this entire things in such a way that I will be able to convert this entire things as an API, right? I will be able to convert this entire agent and tool that I have created, or the graph that I have created, as an API. Yeah. Now that is a place where I will be using LangServe. Basically, LangServe means things by which you will be able to serve. You will be able to host. You will be able to expose something as an API, right? You will be able to expose something as an API. So that is something that I am going to show you now, that how with the help of LangServe, I will be able to call my graph, by the way, right? I will be able to call my graph. I will be able to convert eventually everything as an API, so that at a particular endpoint, right, at a particular URL, anyone can hit and then anyone will be able to access this entire graph. That is something that I'm going to tell you now. And that code I will be writing inside main, right? Main. So here I'm going to call FastAPI to expose that as an API. So import FastAPI, import FastAPI. Okay. So FastAPI, all caps, FastAPI. Okay. Now I'm going to call LangServe over here, LangServe, LangServe, and then import what? So add underscore ROUTS, add routes, ROUTS, yeah, ROUTES, add routes. And then I'm going to import basically this diagnostic graph, because this is something that I have to run, right? So diagnostic graph, and inside that we have a function build graph that we have created just now. So these are the imports that I'm going to do. Now with the help of LangServe, I will be able to execute each and everything. Basically, I will be able to convert everything as a route. Route means anyone can come and hit that particular route and they will be able to get the result. As simple as that. Now here, to do that, I have to create basically like an object of FastAPI. I have to create an object of basically this build graph as well. So both the objects is required. So one is a app object is nothing but this FastAPI I'm going to call, and then I need basically a graph, graph object, and which I will be able to create from the graph. Simple. And then I'm going to call add routes, and here, so I'm going to pass app, like a FastAPI app, just an instance I'm going to pass so that it will be able to convert it into as an app. And then I'm going to pass a graph. Eventually this route, LangServe route, will be able to execute it when this will be called. And then I'm going to give even a route. So which path anyone will be able to access my application. So I can give my own path over here. I can write any name. I can write SUDH. That's completely fine. So I'm going to write DIAGNOSE, diagnose. You can write even my name. That's fine, right? This is my custom path. So at this path, what I'm trying to say is that at this path, at this particular path, you will be able to access this graph, right? Now, what is there inside this graph? So this is there inside this graph. So this graph is going to execute all of these things. It is going to take this kind of the nomenclature that we have defined. So this kind of an input this graph is going to take, right? This is how like we have called this one. This is the kind of an input this graph is going to take, and then it is going to perform each and everything, and then finally it is going to return, right? It is going to return something out of the graph. So this is what it means, by the way. So this will go inside your main.py file, guys. This will go inside your main.py file. Yeah. Now it's time to run this entire application. Now how I'm going to run this entire application, let's try to understand it. So first of all, I have to go inside a LangServe backend. As it's a FastAPI, so I'll try to use a Euron. So LangServe backend, I'm already there. Yeah, LangServe backend, I'm already here, right? Now inside this, right, if I'll write dir, so I have this diagnostic graph main requirement.file tools utils each and everything. I have to access my main file as an app, right? And then I have to execute it on some of the port number that I'm going to give. So CLS, and here I'm going to write UVCon as it's a FastAPI app. So UVCon main I have to execute as an app. Main file I have to execute as an app, and then hyphen I can try to give host. So execute it at 0.0.0.0, right? And then I can give a port number. So port number is basically 8000. I can try to give some other port. If this port will be busy, maybe 8001, 8002, 8005 I can try to give. So this is something that you have to execute from where? From LangServe backend. So wherever you can see main file, right? Main file. Now if I'm going to hit, and if everything is going to work, then it's fine. Otherwise, it is telling me that LangChain tool is not available. Okay. So maybe I have missed something. Are you able to do it, guys, till this point? Yeah, till this point it's clear. So let me check the library. This is the only place where it gives an issue most of the time. So it is giving me LangServe diagnosis tool.py. LangServe diagnostic tool.py. So LangChain, it's a S by the way. So that's a mistake. LangChain tools, basically, it's not a TOOL tool. So save it. Now run again. Okay, so bingo. We are able to run it and my entire graph is live at this particular URL, right? And then at this URL, I will be able to even check as a playground because this playground will be provided by your LangServe, as you can see, right? The only mistake that I have made was in a diagnostic where it was giving me issue. It should not be tool, it should be S basically. So just correct that mistake. And now everything is live. My LangServe is live, guys, as you can see, right? In my local, by the way, as of now, in my local, it's live, not in my global. I'll make it as a global as well, right? That's not a big deal. So it's live. Now I'll try to hit this URL and I'll try to see that what is there at this URL. So there is nothing at this URL. Okay, fine. Now I'll try to attach this diagnosis/playground and hopefully you will be able to get something. So at this URL, there is nothing. So diagnosis. So diagnosis is the root which I have given, if you remember. It's a 0.0.0. Okay. So localhost, right? Let me change the port number here. Sorry, this one. 127.0.0.1. It's a local host. Even 0.0.0 should be a local host, but yeah, I don't know why it's giving me, not giving my application. So HTTPS and then not found. Okay. //404. Okay. So I'm able to hit my LangServe, by the way, and then playground. So it provides you a playground option, by the way, so where you can see each and everything. So this is my LangServe playground, guys. So by default, this is a diagnosis. Diagnosis is what? Diagnosis is technically my path which I have given. If you remember, this is my diagnosis. I can give a name, my name, SUDH. It's going to work. So diagnosis. So basically it is reaching out to this URL. So which is a local host. Then it is reaching out to the port number, which is 8000, which I have given. If your 8000 port number is occupied at the runtime, you can try to change your port number. You can try to make it 800125 or whatever you want. You can just try to make it. We don't have any kind of a issue. And once it is able to reach out to my system with this one, now it is reaching out to this URL, by the way, diagnosis URL, which I have given. At this URL, I have a graph and my app up and running. With the help of app, my graph up and running. So this is something that you will be able to find out here. Are you able to get it, guys? And then at the diagnosis/playground. So playground is something which by default LangServe provides you, right? LangServe provides you. So where you will be able to give your input. Now how these things are coming, by the way, right? How these things are coming. So basically this is coming from the class that I have created, right? So when I have created this graph, so if you remember, so this is the class and I was looking for input, symptom area and diagnostic. So this is the input that I have mentioned in a pydantic way. And because of that, so it is giving me these three fields. That there is nothing different, right? Input, symptom area, same thing you will be able to find out, right? Same thing you will be able to find out. And yeah. So are you able to get it, guys? Are you able to see it? Yeah. Executed. Are you able to see the LangServe playground? Now this is basically your backend. You don't have a UI, by the way. This UI that you are able to see. So don't get confused. This is not a UI that you have created. This is a default one which LangServe provides you based on the input that you are going to give. That okay, fine. So give this input and let's see what I'm going to do it. right? So this is a UI basically will be provided by a playground. So till this point, this is my URL. This is my URL. This is my API, by the way, diagnosis, only till diagnosis. Playground is coming by default from a LangServe side itself for a testing purpose, basically. That's the reason. So it's named it as a playground. So I am going to mention that I have a fever and body ache. So this is something which I am going to give over here. Symptom area, nothing. Diagnosis, nothing. Now let me hit it, right? So here, as you can see, so symptom check, right? Symptom check, it is trying to perform in a very first place. I believe symptom check is a graph node that we have given. So when I'm saying I have a fever and body ache, so it is trying to tell me symptom area is infection. So I've just given, I have a fever and a body ache. So it is trying to call my very first node, by the way. Yeah, a very first node it is trying to call, and then fever and body ache. Now, what is the logic that we have written? What is the logic that we have written for a symptom checker? So if there is a body ache, right? If there is a body ache, now give me what? Return me infection. Yes, it is able to do it from one of the graph, right? It is able to perform that part. So symptom and a body ache. Now, so here I'm going to click on like a start once again. So it should call me a diagnosis step, which it is not calling. Start, and let me check what is the issue. So diagnosis.ai diagnosis invoke, fine, it is trying to invoke this one, but while invoking, so self run tool input, okay, run raise error, okay, and then run this one, then in this structure.py in line number 93, medical project diagnosis. So it is trying to call this one and return JSON. Return response JSON choice, fine. So it is returning me a wrong input, it seems. Okay. So that's an issue. We'll fix it. Let me give a wrong input, right? So input is equals to this start. So no. No, there is a format mistake. Input diagnosis is null. It is able to call one of my tool, which is correct. So infection tool it is able to call. Now after infection tool, so it should call my diagnosis tool, by the way. So let me check. Mm, after this infection, so input fine, it is able to parse it in this way as a list of the strings. So fine, based on that infection, it is able to call. It is so partially it is correct as of now, and nothing. So here input, I have a fever, symptom area. I should not pass a symptom area over here, right? I have a fever, that's fine. Symptom area, diagnosis. Okay, and what is the issue once again? So 200 hit okay, 200 hit diagnosis. On responsion choice content error choice. Post diagnosis, it was able to call. Error was basically line 403, then ignore, exception, send, hope receive sender, fine, handle app, exception, task group, one sub exception. Let me enter this entire things. Symptom checker, intermediate step, diagnosis null. It is giving me this error. Okay, so diagnosis. Messages is equals to message. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So there is a error with this one somewhere. Symptom description find. So message I'm trying to pass in a correct order. So Yuri is going to take a messages. Now this is the message symptom description. Okay, so symptom description, it is going to take fine. So there is no such correction. It was just like before. And Yuri chat completion is returning me response choice, zeroth message, and then content. So it is returning me JSON data choice 0 message content. Yeah, that's fine. So let me check now once again. It's a minor issue, guys. So anyhow, we'll be able to fix it. Okay. So now it's running once again. Let me check. So input. I have a fever. Let's keep it blank. Let's keep it blank. Start. Infection. No, still getting this issue. Key error choice. Why it is giving me again this choice? It's a correct one, by the way. I don't think that, because I have been using this multiple times. API URI alpha chat completion. Okay. Because this format of the output is completely correct. V1 URI alpha, then chat completion. Okay, got the issue, guys. This was the issue. So here base URL wise, I have mentioned this URL, and again I have mentioned over here. This was the issue. That's the reason. So it was giving me the wrong this one. Okay, remove it from here. So alpha. Terminate it. Got the issue. Got the actual issue. CLS, and now run again. So backend up and running. Now execute, and then try to give my input. I'll just try to keep it as a blank. I'll try to keep it this as a blank. Now it's running. See, now it's running. Yeah. So now it is able to give me a diagnosis. Okay, I have given too many things. Let me remove this part. I'll just try to give the input over here. Nothing much. So I have like a fever and cough. Okay, now start. So now it is starting, and now it is trying to invoke and see. So it is able to check the symptoms, which is like an infection. First of all, a diagnosis was 0. There is no diagnosis at this point of a time. And then this 2 1 is going into the second one, which is AI diagnosis, right? AI diagnosis node. So this is one of my node name, and this is the another node name, which is going here. And diagnosis was, I'm sorry to hear you are experiencing the symptom. Fever and cough can be caused by variety of condition ranging from a mild to a more serious. Here are some possible diagnosis and recommended step. Possible diagnosis, common cold. So it has given me the complete diagnosis, as you can see, right? And here, so intermediate step wise, it is showing. You will be able to see that what is been done in an intermediate. So first of all, it has executed this node basically. Then it has included this one. Then it has included this one. Yeah. So this is how this entire things is been done. So what has happened in diagnosis step, and then what has happened in a again diagnosis step over here. Everything you will be able to find out. And yeah, so now everything is green, 200. So successfully we are able to create a backend, and now anyone can call this URL, not playground. Basically playground is just for testing purpose, right? Playground is just for testing purpose. Now anyone can call this URL, by the way, and anyone will be able to, consume my entire application. Anyone can try to pass this input, right? So whatever symptom that user have, so anyone can pass it, and they will be able to get a complete in-depth, in detail analysis in a formatted way. Here we are not able to see in a formatted way. We'll try to create a UI where we can see everything in a formatted way. Making sense, guys? Mohit is asking, this project is AI agent or agentic AI? Mohit, first try to focus in a class. Second, join all the classes with your open eyes. Don't try to sleep in between the class. If you are going to ask me this kind of a question, I'm not able to understand that whether I should answer or whether I should not. Right? We are almost on a verge of completing the entire batch, by the way. Okay, fine. Okay, so my backend is running. My backend server is up and running, by the way. So Mohit, I don't think that you have executed even a single thing that I've taught you in the past, right? Because from your like comments, I can get the sense of it, and I don't think that it's a like it's going in a good way. But yeah, I don't want to say anything. It's fine. Your wish. Okay, so LangServe backend we are able to create. Now let's go and create a like a UI, by the way, right? A simple UI we are going to create. So where it is going to take the input and then it is going to give me the output. So I have already created the input. So let me call this app.py. It's the basic Streamlit app, which is going to give you a interface. So see what we are doing, nothing. So here we are trying to just ask you to describe your symptom, right? And once you are going to describe your symptom, basically, so input, symptom area and diagnosis. Symptom area is going to be blank, diagnosis is going to be blank. Just we are trying to give an input as a symptom. So this is the data that we are trying to prepare, right? This is the data that we are trying to prepare. And then this data basically, whatever input that you have given, whatever input, whatever like a lengthy text that you have written, so it will come over here and then it is going to hit my API. So localhost 8000 diagnosis is a place so where everything is available. Invoke. So by this, it will be able to invoke whatever is available at a diagnosis. And then I'm trying to give a JSON input. This is the only things that we are trying to do with respect to a API testing. That's it. Nothing much, guys, right? That's the only thing. So this is my API, by the way. This is my API call, right? This is my API call, right? So leave your server up and running. If you are going to close this server, so it is not going to work. So what you can do is you can try to create another terminal over here, leave your server up and running. And then maybe I can try to like change my, so MEDI diagnosis, DIA. This is my environment. So MEDI DIA, Conda, activate, MEDI DIA, sorry, DIA. Conda ACTIVAT. Activate MEDI DIA. What happened? Not able to recognize. Why? Okay, CODA I have written. CONDA. Yeah. So fine, activate this environment and then we are going to execute my like Streamlit, by the way, which is my UI, and this UI is not doing anything much. So whatever response it will give it to you, it is trying to show it to you. So this is the only 3 line of a code. So this is for input formatting, the way I have configured the input in my Pydantic class. And this is just for calling the API. It is going to give you the response. I'm going to show you the response. Now let's execute this Streamlit. So here dir and cd AI medical, I'll go inside this folder, then again dir, I'll go inside Streamlit UI, and now I'm going to call streamlit Streamlit run what? So run app.py file, and yeah, it's running AI medical diagnostic assistance. So I am not feeling good. I have some fever. I have given that get diagnosis. So it is going to call my get diagnosis, and if there is nothing wrong, so yeah. So now see, it is going to give you the entire things into a complete formatted way. So input is I'm not feeling well, symptom area infection, diagnosis, it is able to like give you viral infection, bacterial infection, other illness, inflammatory infection, steps that you should take. So monitor your symptom, rest and hydrate, over the counter readiness, seek the medical attention. So in a detail, whatever prompt that you have given, so it is going to give you each and everything. Yeah, it is going to give you everything. This is already I'm able to get it. So I just have to change my little bit of code. So this is the raw output that you are able to get it, guys. Is it making sense? Yeah. So I'm not doing anything much. So once my backend is ready, so my frontend will never give me a pain because I just have to call the APIs. Now, when I'm going to deploy it, right? When I'm going to deploy my backend, for example, if I'm going to deploy my backend, what I will do is I'll just change this API endpoint. So instead of this local host, I'll try to give my server API. So this is the only changes which I'm going to make. Apart from that, there is no changes which is required to consume this one. So now what I will do is that I will try to deploy my backend first, right? I'll try to deploy my backend first separately, as I have discussed in the beginning of the class itself. So I'll try to deploy a backend now. So, and then I'll try to test a backend, deployed backend URL, deployed backend API from my local. And then eventually I'll try to deploy even my front end. So shall we go ahead, guys, for a deployment? Yeah, shall we go ahead? Okay, Jitendra is asking one very good question. The project is really great creating from a scratch, but one layman question: if user can give a symptom in a ChatGPT and get a detailed answer, obviously, see, you will be able to give an input into a ChatGPT, but here I'm not trying to teach you that what can be done with a ChatGPT or what can't be done with a ChatGPT. Here, what I'm trying to teach you is that how you can create your own custom agent, how you can try to call your own custom tool, how you can connect each and everything, how you can try to even host it, so that going forward, let's suppose there is a document which is available inside your folder, or maybe on a S3, or maybe in a blob, right? Now you would like to read that document. So there is one tool which is reading those documents. There is another tool which is summarizing those documents. There is another tool which is going to even eventually trying to generate a report out of it. So there can be a infinite number of tasks, you can say, that we as a human we would like to perform, and where we would like to involve a tooling, involve agents, and involve LLMs together. Obviously for this question your ChatGPT is going to give the answer, but if I'm going to change the scenario, that let's suppose my entire things is available, my symptom, my health report, right? Let's suppose my health, here I'm trying to enter the symptom, I agree, right? So I'm trying to enter the symptom, but let's suppose my entire health report is available in a S3 bucket, right? Or in my local system, or maybe it's available on a blob storage, or maybe into some databases, right? Will your ChatGPT will be able to give an answer? Guys, yes or no? You are not entering anything from here. You're not entering anything from here. Now you want a detailed response. You want a detailed diagnosis, just like a doctor, right? And everything is available, not in your system, maybe on a S3 bucket, maybe into some databases, right? So will you be able to use just a ChatGPT by prompting it and then say that, okay, fine, just give me the analysis? No. Inside a ChatGPT, you have to call MCP tools. There is a MCP tool provision which is available for us, right? Now, or else you can try to create an agent. Now that agent is going to call the tools. Yeah. So what is the meaning of this agent? Agent is trying to perform some specific task, only a specific task, right? What is a tool? Again, a more specific one, the worker one, right? So it is trying to perform one specific task. So there are millions of specific tasks that you will be able to find out in your day-to-day as well as inside the industry. Yeah. So we are not learning that what can be done with the ChatGPT, because that is something that we already know, right? We are trying to learn that how we can try to customize it so that n number of tools which available in an entire universe, maybe my Gmail, maybe my WhatsApp, maybe my Telegram, right? Maybe my a storage, maybe my some other different kind of API, maybe my analytics dashboard. I will be able to access everything all together. Sequentially, I will be able to attach, and then one after another, AI will be able to take a decision and execute the task. Yeah. So that was the whole idea. That was the whole idea behind teaching you, or that is the whole idea behind even learning generative AI, right? And inside generative AI, so learning a agentic AI, or you can say a tool calling, or all of this framework, whether it's a LangChain or maybe a Llama indexes, maybe a LangServe, maybe a LangFlow, maybe like a Crew AI, or maybe N8N. Yeah. And after some time, believe me, after execution couple of code, you will be able to find out that now give me any framework, I'll do it. Because the core philosophy of most of the framework is exactly same. They have just created their own API because obviously they have to run the business, right? It's just a business. So, but yeah, someone is giving you some advantage, someone is not. And tomorrow even that will be available in the other one. This is how this AI industry is growing, and every day we are able to heard about new things basically. Yeah. Okay. So this is done. Now what I can do is that I'll try to first of all like host my backend, right? I'll try to push my backend, and then I'll try to test it from my local. And even you guys will be able to test it from the local. Now, so the platform which I'm going to use for a deployment is going to be a render platform. So hope all of you are enjoying, guys. All of you are able to learn something in a real time, and I don't think that anyone will have a problem with respect to an agent or something. Yep. So just go to Google and try to search for render. I believe I have already used render platform in your class as well. So render, just log in with the Google sign in. A simple one step. So render is basically a platform which is giving you a free like a hosting solution. You can try to use Azure or AWS as well. I'll try to show you that part as well, that how you can try to host it. But yeah, even inside the render, you can try to make it scalable if you are going with the paid one. In a free one, they're not giving you that option, by the way. Yeah. So here I have to deploy that on a render cloud platform. Now to deploy that, I have to keep my code inside a GitHub, or I have to convert everything into my into a Docker file. Basically, I have to convert everything into a Docker version of it. So what I will do is I'll try to push my code, right? I'll try to push my complete code inside a GitHub repository in a very first place. Yeah, inside a GitHub repository. So let's do it. So here I can try to create two separate repository, one for frontend, one for backend, or maybe I can try to create one repository, but two directory structure I can try to maintain the way I'm maintaining in my local. So either way, it's completely fine. I will be able to recognize it at the time of deployment. So let's see how we can deploy separately a frontend and separately a backend. So repository, and I'm going to create a new repository over here. Diagnostics, Diag, something like that. Create repository. So create it with your own name, and then let's start pushing a code. So here, let me open up a new command prompt. So dir, now cd AI medical, okay, dir. So, okay, front end, back end, both are available. So I'll try to push both of this, right? In a later stage, if I have to update it, I'll update it. So here, get init, get init, initialize it. Now, as you can see, color has changed. So get init, and then I can write git add everything. So git add dot. That's the reason I have written git add. Now after that, so commit basically. So git commit or message. So git commit and then message. So message my first agent deploy. Okay. So the other file, it is able to check in, and then once after that, so git branch main. Just a very like a baby step that we are taking. So git is already providing you all those steps. Now git remote, done. Git push origin main. Okay, done. So this is the only step, and anyhow, whenever you are going to create the repository, it is going to give you all the steps, as simple as that. Now refresh it, refresh your git, and now all these files are available. So LangServer backend I have created, it's available over here, as you can see. And Streamlit UI, so this is the front end which I have created, so it's available. Requirement.txt, it's blank, right? Okay, let me keep something inside the Streamlit is the only thing which I have to keep, or maybe I can, okay, leave it. Commit changes, commit. Okay. So here, LangServer backend. So first of all, I'll try to deploy the backend. So how I'm going to deploy the backend? Let's try to understand that part. So all these things has been pushed. Are you able to push your code into a GitHub, guys? It's just a 2-minute of job. Yeah. Are you able to like push it inside your GitHub? Everyone? Okay, so once you are able to push it, come to render. Now click on new, click on web services. Yeah, click on new, click on web services. Now, so here, if you are doing it for the very first time, so it is going to ask you to connect basically. So connect to the GitHub, and it is asking you for the authorization. So you can try to provide the authorization, user ID and password. and then you will be able to connect with your GitHub. You can try to connect with the GitLab as well. You can try to connect with the Bitbucket. So these are basically Git. They try to provide you a version management with respect to a code, whether it's a GitLab, whether it's a Bitbucket. You can use any of these. That's completely fine. If you're not keeping a code inside the Git, then you can try to go ahead with the Docker file, Docker container. So that is also fine. Now, so Git provider, I'm able to connect. Now here I'm able to see my repository, right? Here I'm able to see my repository, which is a MEDI diag. This is the repository which I have created, right? Inside that I have basically two things. One is my backend. One folder is holding my backend. One folder is holding my frontend. I'll not focus on frontend at all. I'll try to focus on backend first. I'll try to deploy backend separately and frontend separately. I could have done both together. That's also fine. But I just wanted to show you that how things happens in reality, right? In a backend, so we try to deploy and we try to host the APIs. Then in a frontend, we try to consume it. So that's the reason. So I'm trying to show you separately. Otherwise, I would have done that all together. So not a big deal. It's like a same thing, but maybe you will not be able to get like a reality check over here. So that's the only reason I'm doing this. Making sense, guys? Shall we move ahead? Yeah, everyone. Yes. Okay. So here, see, this is my main directory, MEDI diag. Inside that, so basically we have basically a file in two places. One is a backend, one is a frontend. So I'll just have to deploy LangServer backend. What I can do is I can try to keep it in a separate repository, or else as of now it's available in my same repository. So I can copy this one, and then as a root directory there is an option. So I can try to pass this root directory. So this root directory option is available, that okay, for this app, what is the root directory? So it will not even look into your other directory. It will only look into this particular directory, although the repository is same, right? But here I can try to branch it. Here I can try to separate it basically. So this is what I have done, LangServer backend. So whatever is the name, keep it as it is. And here you will be able to see that things has changed. So build command is basically what? Pip install requirement.txt. That is going to be the build command. Now you have to even give a start command. So if you remember, we have given a start command for a UVcorn, right? What was the start command? So basically for me, start command was this one, right? I'm not going to give a 127 by the way over here. So start command was this one, UVcorn main app, and then here, so just try to give a global one. So 0.0.0.0 port number 8000. It's completely fine. You can even try to change it. So this is something that you have to give as a start command. Follow along with me, guys. You will be able to deploy it in no time, right? Just follow along with me. So here I have just branched it. I have just selected the root directory. Why? Because I just have to deploy my LangServer backend. I don't have to deploy my front end. Okay. And then this is my start command. The same start command which I have executed in my local machine. Same I am trying to give it over here. 0.0.0.0 port number, this one. Okay. Now here, so you have to select a free, right? Otherwise you have to go for the payment. Now here you will have to pass the environment variable. As of now, I have hard coded, right? As of now, I have hard coded it. But let's suppose if you are not hard coding it, because the way I'm trying to save, or I'm trying to keep my API's key is wrong. We should not do it, right? We should keep it inside a .env file or maybe somewhere secret so that I can pass it at the runtime. So here, whenever you are going to deploy it, you can try to pass it here, URI API key and UPI values, simple. And system will be able to call it automatically. So how, let me do that as well. So here I can go to Euron, I can go to URI, I can go to APIs, I can go to authenticate and then copy and values, right? And then advanced option. So secret file, if you have any kind of a secret file that we try to check or health check or pre-deployment command. So before deployment, you have to do it, auto deployment command or build filter. So it's a standard approach that we try to follow, and everything is available even inside a render. And even inside AWS, if you're going to deploy, all the services are available. Azure, same thing is available. Going forward, I'm going to show you that part as well. So here, deploy a web service. Now, if everything goes fine, right? If everything goes fine, it will start deploying your services. It is going to take some time. As you can see, it's building, right? It's building. Just wait for 3 to 4 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. It will be able to deploy. And then what I will do is, once it will be able to deploy, I will try to take my API key, right? I'll try to take my API key basically, and then I'll try to call it locally first. And then I'll try to deploy even a Streamlit app. Both I'll deploy. But first, I'll try to test my APIs, and even you guys can test it. So here I'm using a local host. I will not be using local host. Yeah. Your key is there inside the code, sir. Exactly. My key is already there. This is the reason I told you that it's a wrong approach, right? We should not keep a key in a hard-coded way. We should keep a key in a .env file. I believe in my previous classes, I have already shown you that how to create a .env file and then try to call load underscore environment and then load it. So that is the ideal approach, by the way. I've just shown you the placeholder, that there is a placeholder render is giving you where you can try to place your key. Plus, those who are worried about the scalability, so let's suppose 10,000 people are calling my this system, this API, right? 10,000 people are going to hit my APIs. So there is a scaling option which is available. There is a disk, there is a job option which is available. There is a log you will be able to observe. There is a matrices you will be able to observe. But majority of feature is available in a paid version. It's not available in a free version, by the way. So now you can see that whatever I have done in my local system, step by step, it is doing the exact same thing. So basically, whatever you do in a local system, right? This is also a system. Cloud is what? Cloud is also a system which you are able to access it from a remote. So anyone who have started deploying this application? Okay, so it's showing me build is successful, but still it will take some time. So it's still building, as you can see. So it will take some time. And remember, I have just deployed my backend, not my frontend. I'll deploy a frontend as a different app. So this is a MediDiag app, right? This is for a backend, let's suppose, right? I'll try to create a different app for my frontend. So both app is going to be different. Build successful and then deploying. And this is how even in a real-time deployment happens. And if you are going to change anything in my Git, right? In this Git, if you are going to change anything, automatically it will start deploying. Once you will be able to deploy for once. So you can try to leave it on a auto deploy as well. Auto deploy means, so by the time it will keep on observing your GitHub. So by the time you are going to push a new set of the code, updated version, it will call the deployment. Simple. Okay, building this and in progress. Yeah, it will take some time. Especially for this one, it will take some time. For a UI, it is not going to take some time because here installation is heavy, right? So we are trying to install a lot of things over here. LangChain LangServe. Okay. See guys. So whatever we were able to see in my local system, can I say that exact same thing I'm able to see even over here? Yes, everyone? Yeah. This is something that I was able to see it, right? Yes. So successfully, I'm able to deploy. Just wait for some time. It is still in progress. I'll tell you how to access it. Yeah. So now see, it is giving you this binding port and URL. Just wait for a couple of minutes. This URL that you are able to see, it is going to work. And this is a public one. Anyone can access it. Anyone can hit my system now. Yeah. Just wait for a couple of more seconds. So it's still in progress. I'm starting the deployment, waiting for the issues. Okay, and don't worry. I don't think that it will give you issue. If it is not giving issue in my system, then, and if it is working fine locally, then ideally it will not give. Yeah, your service is live. See, and now tag has changed. Live it is, right? Now I'll try to hit this one. detail not found. Now what I will do is I'll try to hit my slash diagnose, right? See, slash diagnose slash playground. And we are able to see a playground, and this playground is live. Yes, this is not available in my local system. This is running globally. 200, okay. Now if I'm going to pass some sort of an input, I am not feeling well. I am not feeling well. So yeah, just try to pass something. So intermediate step, and now it is still like running. Yeah, see, it is able to do the diagnosis and it is able to give me all the things. Now this is my API, by the way, guys. This is my API, the selected one. Playground is, we know that playground is something that LangServer automatically provides so that you will be able to test it, right? So this is my API. This is my API. API without authentication. So anyone can use it. So the way you are using a URI API, right? So obviously we have given you what? We have given you the URL, and at that URL, my URI is up and running. That's the reason. So you are able to hit our API. Similarly, we are able to create my API. This is my API. And again, no authentication. In URI, we have given the authentication. We have attached the authentication. So even with this one, I can attach the authentication so that you will not be able to access it, right? Even I can change this URL in case of URI. So it's basically a Euron URL that we have given, right? At a URL. But here, so as you are using a free service in a paid, they will allow you to bind the URL so that this URL will not be visible. So you can try to bind it with your own URL. So, okay, I have tested it. It's working. It's up and running. It's fine. Now I can test it even with my UI. So even with my UI, so where I was using a local host, I can try to use what? This one. Yeah, I can try to use this one, invoke. And then if I'm going to execute my Streamlit app, now I'm going to terminate this one and I'm going to execute my Streamlit app once again. Now I have fever. Now, obviously it is not going to call my local. If you will come and check over here, if you will come and check over here, so you will be able to find a 200. 200 means, so someone is trying to hit my APIs and someone is trying to get the result. I have a fever and everything is like up and running. And if you'll go and check, see 200, right? Just not 200. 200 means it has invoked the diagnosis and 200. Okay. So now it is trying to hit my global API. Now it is not hitting my local one. Is it making sense to all of us, guys? Yes, everyone. How many of you are able to deploy and test your APIs? And I believe you all are able to understand that how I'm trying to make my agent, and this UI is running in my local. See, UI in my local, and I'm doing our API testing, which I have already hosted, right, from my local. Yes, so now my agent is live. Simple. So if I can make one agent live, I can make thousands of agent lives, and then I can try to do any number of tool calling. So my tools are live, my agents, my graph is live, my entire things is live. And even now the API, which I have pinged it to you, right? So this one, even you can test it. All of you can test it. Yes. So just do /playground, try to input your symptom. You will be able to test it. And I will be able to see a load over here that how many of you are testing it, by the way, how many of you are hitting it, by the way. Yeah. So this backend is live. Now it's time to make my front end live. Yeah. It's time to make my front end live. Okay. Many people are trying to hit. Now I can see it. Yes. Many people are trying to hit it. See, in a real time, I can see it. Now, if I have to bring it on a scale, I will be using a scaling feature so that even 10,000 people, 20,000 people will be able to hit it. If I have to observe the logs, right, that someone is facing an issue, someone is not facing an issue, I can observe all the logs and those things, and from where you are hitting it, your IP address, right, your IP address, your information, I will be able to get it here. See, so from how many system I'm getting a hit. See, I'm not hitting it. All this hit is coming from your side. Right, my students who are live inside a class, they are hitting it. I will be even able to observe the matrices, but this will be available with the paid version. They are not making it available for a free, so that I can observe my entire network traffic. Based on that, I can try to configure the scaling. I can even try to maybe trigger it as a jobs. So in a particular interval, it will keep on like running that job, keep on checking something. So there is a lot that I can do, right? There is a lot of things that I can try to do over here at any point of a time. Okay, so now as my backend is live, right, and my frontend is running on a local host, I will try to do one thing. I'll try to even make my frontend live, yeah, so that even my frontend and backend and separate. Obviously, I'm going to create a separate app. So let's go ahead and let's try to do it. Where is my render? Close this one. Okay. So I'm closing this. This is my local host, by the way. And yeah, it's been tested on a playground, which is a global one. Now, so I have made a little bit of changes inside my app.py file. So I have to push a fresh app.py file basically, unless and until I'm not pushing it. So it is not going to basically work. So let's push it then, guys. Finally, deployment has executed without any issue. Yeah, why? If there is an issue, we'll try to fix it. So how many of you are able to do it? Santosh, anyone? They be saying that he is able to do it. Okay, so I'm into AI medical diagnostic. Okay, I think chat has been ended. Just a minute, guys. I'm going to reactivate the chat. I think because of time. Just a minute, guys. Wait, I think chat has been deactivated. No, it was time was given till 5:30 p.m. Okay, chat is live. I can see it. Fine. So now what we have to do is basically we have to push the updated code, whatever like a updation that we have done, and inside the requirement.txt. So I have to keep my Streamlit. Okay. So let me push this changes. So git add. So okay. Okay, deployment done. Great. So git add, and then basically we can try to add a specific file if we want. Otherwise, we can try to like add everything. So git commit after add message. So this is my changes in UI side. Okay, fine. 2 file has changed, and then we can try to basically push this code in this repository. Copy this one. Okay. And then here, so we can try to do git remote add origin, although it's been added. IGIN. Okay, so yeah, like I said, so it's already available, it's already added. Git push. Error rejected. Okay, maybe it has been rejected because of okay. So basically I haven't merged, and because without merging, so I'm doing it, and I have done some sort of a manual changes. That's the reason. So here what I can write, so git pull origin main and then rebase, so that everything will be REBASE, git pull origin main hyphen rebase. Yeah, so we are rebasing it and then resolve in a merge edit. Fine. Complete merger, complete with conflict, complete with conflict. Fine. Continue. Sync changes. Okay. So if you remember guys, I have done one of the changes basically in a Git directly, which was a requirement.txt file. And because of that, it is giving me this issue, nothing else. So now it's a requirement.txt. So it seems again blank. Streamlit, Control S, git add, git commit with a message. So changed requirement. Okay, so one insertion, one file have changed. And then I can try to do git push origin main. So after rebasing it, origin main. Okay, it's done. So now if I'll go and check my git, so it should be up to date. Streamlit UI, requirement.txt, there is a Streamlit which is available, and then app.py file. So there is a my API available, right? My online API which is available. Okay. Now I'll start deploying it, guys. I'll just try to deploy this entire app. So just push it inside your GitHub once again, and then start deploying. So to deploy it, you can go to a main dashboard. You can click on new, again web service, right? You have already attached your this one, GitHub. So select that one, and then name is medidia underscore UI underscore FS interface. This is the new name which I have given. This is the new app which I am trying to create. And now for this one, what is the root directory? So my root directory is going to be this one, Streamlit UI. This is going to my root directory. So I'm saying that just look into this one. This is for my UI. So whatever changes I'm going to do it with respect to UI, I'll be keeping it here. Okay. So pip install requirement.txt, it is going to do. And then it is going to basically run the Streamlit app basically. So here is Streamlit run app.py, and I can try to give basically server port number, something like this, so that it will be able to run the Streamlit app. So this is the command, guys. This is a start command. So generally in a local, we try to give this one. Here I'm trying to give even a server port, and then I'm trying to enable cross is equal to false. Now free environment, no environment is required, deploy. What happened? Yeah, this looks fine. Pip install -r requirement.txt. Let me re-execute. Media underscore UI, then main, then root directory, Streamlit UI, fine. Streamlit app, this. Okay, free, deploy. There was no issue. So sometime what happens is it gives you like a field error. So just deploy your front end as well, guys. But yeah, in a front end, so you should call your backend, by the way. Means you should change the API. And this will be done in a no time. Because it's a very lightweighted application, right? A simple file which is calling the API. So this is how, guys, I'm deploying my front end. And now you can go ahead and create a front end in any of the language or technology or framework that you know. So two separate app I'm able to maintain with respect to the front end and with respect to the back end. Santosh saying no. Why no? What happened? Okay, so build successful. Like I said, so it will be quick because there is nothing much to install and set up. It's just a Streamlit package which it is going to install. So it will not take much time. And successfully two separate application. the way we used to deploy it in a real time, we are able to do it. And now you can just pay and scale it for any number of users that you want. Yeah, so now this is live. I can click it over here and even you guys can use it, right? Every one of us can use this one, by the way. So I am not, or I have fever, anything I can write, get diagnosis. And the way it was running in my local, in the similar manner, it is going to call my API, which is again hosting on a global server, and it is going to give me the response. I'm able to get the response, guys. Yeah, I'm able to get the response. So yes, I'm able to get the response. Even you guys can hit it and then you will be able to get the response. Now, if I'll go into my dashboard, I will be able to see that this media diag, so which is like my backend service, this is up and running, and then media UI. So these are the two different services, two different app. Basically, I'm running the way we try to run it in a global server, or maybe for any kind of application, even Euron kind of application that we are running. And yeah, so you can go and you can try to check the logs, you can try to check the matrices, who is hitting, when it is hitting. So just now someone has hit, right? Someone has a hit on my like APIs, and just now someone is trying to like hit my UI. So everything I will be able to maintain, monitor separately, and both the applications are completely separate. So I can try to develop both the application in a separate manner. If I have to bring it on a scale, not an issue at all. So here is the option, scale option, which is available to me. And there are other configuration as well, which is available. So which will, with the help of that, I will be able to like, make it available to millions of people, by the way. There are so many things which comes in between, but yeah, for now, I think this is more than enough. So finally, guys, we are able to do it, and hope all of you are able to do it together. Now, so here, come to Euron once again, and generative AI with NLP and agentic AI. Try to come here. Now, similar kind of a project I have given you, exact similar kind of a project I have given you in level 3. So one I have done, right? And many other project, agent creation and everything I have done. Now, what I want you to do is, before tomorrow's class, right? Before tomorrow's class, I want you to build this, and this. All 4 projects, you have to build it. I'm going to give you a demo of all of these 4 projects, because for me, building these things are not at all a big deal. It's again, not just for me, for any one of us now. So just try to complete this 4 project. Tomorrow, I'm going to give a demo with my code base. But whenever you are trying to build a project, make sure that you are following the exact same thing. Front-end separate, back-end separate. You have to create the agent. You have to host the agent. You can try to use maybe something different. I don't have any kind of an issue, right? Maybe you can use a Llama index. Maybe you can use a Crew AI. I'm completely okay with it, because we all know that now we can use it, right? At the end of the day, I want an application. As simple as that. Yes. Fine, guys, making sense? So Ranjit is asking, do you have an example of adding authentication used to this one? I can add authentication in no time, by the way. So authentication is not at all a big deal. So we had a main.py, right, where we are exposing each and everything. Yeah. So what we can do is, so we can try to, create one simple file or simple function over here, and we can try to attach it. So the roles and responsibility of that function will be to first check the authentication. So here there is something called as, whenever we are trying to make it public, there is something called as dependencies, dependencies, dependencies. And here dependencies wise, we can try to call a function. For example, as you have asked, depends upon what? So depends upon a API underscore key, the way you are dependent upon the URI API key, right? So dependencies. Now this API key is nothing but a function which I can write. Basically, API key is basically a function that I can write. So which is going to take the API key and then eventually it is going to give you the final authentication. So let me do that as well. So here you have to write only this much of the code. See what I'm doing. Just FastAPI, HTTPS security. So security is a model which I'm trying to import, and FastAPI security API key auth header. Let me change this name. So verify API key should be the name. So in a easiest possible way, guys, you will be able to attach the authentication. So for how? Create one simple function. Now this simple function is trying to use what? This simple function is trying to use the security. Security is a feature inside the FastAPI. We are already using FastAPI app over here, right? So which is going to ask for the key name and the authentication, and then you are going to provide the API key the way you are providing it for the like a URI, by the way, right? So this is how easy it is. So unless and until you don't have this key, right? Don't have this key, you will not be able to use it. Yeah, I can even try to make this key dynamic the way we have made a key dynamic for a URI, because URI key is different for everyone, right? So this is the key, right? This is the key. So this key is going to be different for everyone. Till this bearer, everything is same, just like a URI. Now I have to make it dynamic. So what I can do is I can write another function, so which will try to generate a key, basically the way I want. Then problem will be solved. So for one user, that there is a key, for other user there will be a different key. So this is how even we are maintaining the entire authorization. Yeah, so know about chat window close. It's a very good with COE. It's a very good with code. Okay, so those who have asked me, I think Ranjit has asked me this question, right? So Ranjit, if you would like to apply the authentication, in no time you can apply the authentication. As of now, this is your key, whoever is calling the URL. Yeah, this is the key, whoever is calling the URL. You can try to even make it dynamic if you want. So this is all about today's class, guys. So how many of you are going to give me a project, this 4 project before tomorrow, or even today itself, in next like a 5 hour max to max? From how many of you I can expect the project, guys? Up and running and deployed with the URL and the code. All 4 projects. So how many of you are going to give it to me? Yes, everyone? Amanath is asking question that how are there any metrics or evaluation method for agent observability? This kind of an interview question I have faced 2 days back. Please give me your suggestion. Yeah, so there is something that we try to observe, obviously, and that too depends upon the task. So if you will ask me about the agents, right? So basically, we generally try to evaluate agents in a way that how many number of steps my agent is trying to take to complete a particular task. A less will be better. And the second one is we are going to evaluate an agent based on its decision-making capability, because we all know that agent is an entity which can try to call, right? So which can try to technically call I would say like a tools automatically with its own consent, right? Automatically it will be able to call it. So how good my agent is in terms of making that decision, in terms of calling that particular tool, and based on that we can try to observe the agent. So there is something called as agent workflow matrices we try to create, basically, right? Which try to evaluate the number of steps, which try to evaluate a loop detection, basically, which try to even detect that tool uses, that how good it is in terms of using a tools. So this is something which happens with respect to the agent. Now there is another a matrices which we try to evaluate called as error and failure matrices. So how many times my agent is going to fail to load the tools, fail to utilize a proper tool, or misusing a tools. So these are the matrices that you should like observe. And then output quality, obviously, right? That how like less hallucinated your output is, how faithful your output is. So we try to generate a faithful accuracy, and based on that, we try to evaluate it. So these are the parameters you can use it, Amarnath. And that should be your answer. 4, maybe 2, 3. Yeah, just let's see how many of you are able to do it, by the way. And let me share this entire code inside your directories. So much of code, by the way. What is my folder name for today? Medical project. So fine guys, I am sharing my code, full code with all of you. But yeah, let's see how many of you will be able to complete the task. So tomorrow, most probably what I'm going to do is, I'll give you a quick run of all the project, because all the project will be almost similar if you will go and read out, right? And then I believe we all know how to deploy it. So no need to repeat the same process again and again. We just wanted to see that how many different kind of application as per the syllabus we can try to create, right? So starting from here, so text summarization or opinion mining, personalized AI interview question generator, medical AI chatbot, symptom checkers, all these things we can do it. Then tomorrow I will try to give you, this is also a small application. So here I will be using a Gemini API, and then with the help of that, I'm going to pass a image, and plus I will be using a LangChain. So here I will be using an agent plus a vision model, so that it will be able to even understand what is like inside the image, and then it will be able to give you the full description. So this is again one of the small project. It's a very, very small project that we have. And then we will move ahead. Almost this one we have completed, right? Then we will move ahead with the fine tuning. So most probably tomorrow we will try to complete most of the things, and then whatever will be left, we'll try to complete it next weekend on Saturday itself, right? So I think by Saturday we'll close the class, we'll close the lecture. So tomorrow, I believe I have already told you what we are going to do. But yeah, there is a task for you. So if you are serious enough, please do the task, and ping me in a group whenever you are able to complete the task, so that all of us can see it, and hope all of you are able to enjoy, and all of you are able to learn a lot with that. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. And we are already available in a group, so we can initiate a chat over there.